First contact and misconceptions. The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly before the Zarkonian scout ship Nebula Seeker. Captain Selthor's tentacles twitched with anticipation as his vessel approached the uncharted solar system. The ship's sensors had detected unusual energy signatures emanating from the third planet, piquing the interest of the Zarkonian exploratory fleet. Report, Science Officer Vexera. Selthor commanded, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with shades of blue and green. Vexera's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession as she processed the incoming data. Captain, scans indicate a civilization in its early stages of technological development. Primitive combustion-based vehicles, rudimentary space exploration capabilities, and curious levels of atmospheric pollution. Selthor's skin shifted to a dismissive shade of orange. Another backwater world, then. Hardly worth our time. There's more, Captain, Vexera continued, her voice tinged with confusion. Despite their technological limitations, they've achieved a global communication network and have made significant strides in medical science. It's an unusual combination. The captain's interest was momentarily rekindled. On screen, he ordered. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a blue and green orb swathed in wispy clouds. Closer inspection showed sprawling cities, vast transportation networks, and the twinkling lights of a planet-wide civilization. Fascinating, Selthor mused. They've managed to cover their entire world without achieving faster-than-light travel. How quaint. His skin rippled with amusement. What do we know about the dominant species? Vexera's tendrils danced over her console. Bipedal mammals, Captain. They call themselves humans. Average lifespan of less than a century. Physically unimpressive by galactic standards. No natural defenses, no significant adaptations for survival in hostile environments. Selthor's laughter echoed through the bridge. Barely more than animals, really. And yet they've built all this. He gestured at the screen. Perhaps they'd make for interesting pets or servants. The science officer's skin flushed with concern. Captain, I must advise caution. Their achievements, while primitive by our standards, suggest a level of ingenuity that what, Vexera? Selthor interrupted. That they might pose a threat to the mighty Zarkonian Empire. Don't be absurd. He turned to his communications officer. Send a message to High Command. We found a world ripe for conquest. Recommend a small invasion force. No need to waste resources on these weaklings. As the Nebula Seeker prepared to leave Earth's orbit, none of its crew could have imagined the chain of events they had set in motion. Their casual dismissal of humanity's potential would soon prove to be the gravest mistake in Zarkonian history. Months passed on Earth, blissfully unaware of the alien eyes that had surveyed it. In New York City, Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat in her lab at the United Nations Science Division, poring over strange data readings from deep space telescopes. This can't be right, she muttered, running the analysis for the third time. The results remained unchanged. A massive energy signature, unlike anything ever recorded, was approaching the solar system at impossible speeds. With trembling hands, she reached for her phone. "Get me the Secretary General," she told her assistant. "We may have first contact on our hands." Across the globe, in a small apartment in Tokyo, amateur astronomer Hiroshi Tanaka made a similar discovery. His modest telescope, augmented with home-built sensors, had detected anomalies that defied explanation. Excited and terrified, he uploaded his findings to an online forum for citizen scientists. Within hours, Hiroshi's post went viral. Astronomers worldwide confirmed his observations, and panic began to spread. Governments scrambled to maintain order while frantically preparing for the unknown. In Washington, D.C., President Isabella Chen stood before a hastily assembled panel of military leaders, scientists, and diplomats. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment, "we stand at the precipice of the most significant event in human history. Our actions in the coming days will determine the fate of our species. General Marcus Stone, A grizzled veteran with piercing blue eyes spoke up. "Madam President, with all due respect, we need to assume hostile intent. Our military readiness." Dr. Rodriguez, present via video link, interjected. "We can't jump to conclusions, General. This could be a peaceful first contact. We need to approach this with open minds and—" "Open minds won't stop an invasion, Doctor," Stone growled. President Chen raised a hand, silencing the room. "We'll prepare for all scenarios. Dr. Rodriguez, I want you leading a team to attempt communication. General Stone, quietly mobilize our forces, but keep them on standby. We won't provoke a conflict, but we'll be ready to defend ourselves if necessary." As the meeting adjourned, Chen turned to her chief of staff. "Get me a direct line to Moscow, Beijing, and Brussels. If we're facing a threat from beyond the stars, old rivalries need to be set aside. Humanity must stand united." In the following weeks, Earth became a hive of activity. Military installations hummed with preparation. Scientists worked around the clock to decipher the approaching signals, and world leaders engaged in unprecedented cooperation. Meanwhile, in orbit around Mars, the Zarkonian invasion fleet emerged from hyperspace. Admiral Zexkrol, a decorated veteran of 100 conquests, surveyed the red planet with disdain. "Preliminary scans of the target world are complete, Admiral," his tactical officer reported. "The humans have detected our approach, but their defenses are laughable. Primitive projectile weapons, a handful of crude orbital platforms, nothing that can threaten our ships." Zexkrol's skin rippled with anticipation. "Excellent. Prepare the first wave. Let's remind these humans of their place in the universe." As the Zarkonian ships began their approach to Earth, humanity held its breath. In homes, bunkers, and command centers across the globe, billions of eyes turned to the sky, watching and waiting. Dr. Rodriguez stood in the UN's hastily assembled First Contact Center, surrounded by banks of computers and nervous scientists. "Any response to our transmissions?" she asked, hope audible in her voice. Her assistant shook his head. "Nothing, Doctor. They're not even acknowledging our attempts at communication." In the White House Situation Room, President Chen watched grimly as satellite feeds showed the alien fleet entering Earth orbit. "So much for peaceful first contact," she murmured. Turning to General Stone, she nodded solemnly. "You have a go, General. God help us all." As the first Zarkonian ships began their descent through Earth's atmosphere, humanity's defenders scrambled into action. Fighter jets screamed into the sky, missile silos opened their hatches, and soldiers around the world prepared for a battle unlike any in history. The invasion of Earth had begun, but the Zarkonians were about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the human spirit. The species they had dismissed as weak was about to show the galaxy what it meant to be truly strong. The invasion that wasn't. The skies over Earth's major cities darkened as Zarkonian warships descended through the atmosphere. Their sleek biomechanical designs seemed to defy physics, hovering ominously above terrified populations. In New York, Tokyo, London, and a dozen other metropolises, people gazed upward in a mixture of awe and terror. Admiral Zexkrol observed the planet's panicked reactions with smug satisfaction. "Pitiful creatures," he muttered. "They cower before our might without a single shot fired." His skin rippled with shades of victory gold. "Commence the first wave. Let's show these humans the futility of resistance." As if on cue, smaller craft began to emerge from the larger ships. Drop pods rained down on strategic locations, military bases, government buildings, and major population centers. The Zarkonians expected a swift and brutal conquest. What they got instead would change the course of galactic history. In Washington, D.C., President Chen stood resolute in the White House bunker. "General Stone, status report," she demanded, her eyes fixed on the tactical displays. The general's voice crackled over the comm system. "Madam President, alien forces are deploying globally. Our air defenses are engaging." But he paused, disbelief evident in his tone. "Ma'am, "You're not going to believe this." Chen leaned forward. "Believe what, General?" "Our weapons. They're working. The alien shields, they're not as strong as we feared. We're actually downing their ships." A ripple of hope spread through the bunker. Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Keep pushing, General. Show them humanity won't go down without a fight." Across the globe, a similar story unfolded. The Zarkonian invaders, expecting to face primitive resistance, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by humanity's unexpected ferocity and ingenuity. In the skies over London, Royal Air Force pilot Sarah Mitchell banked her Typhoon fighter hard, dodging alien energy beams. "These buggers are quick," she muttered, lining up a shot. Her missiles streaked out, finding their mark on a Zarkonian fighter. As the alien craft spiraled towards the ground, Sarah allowed herself a whoop of triumph. "That's for underestimating us, you overgrown squids." Meanwhile, in the streets of Tokyo, a different kind of resistance was taking shape. Hiroshi Tanaka, the amateur astronomer who first spotted the alien approach, had rallied a group of tech-savvy citizens. Armed with hastily modified electronics, they were wreaking havoc on the invaders' communications. "Their systems are more vulnerable than we thought," Hiroshi explained to his improvised team. "Keep jamming their frequencies. Every second we buy gives our military a better chance." As the battle raged on, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked feverishly in her lab. The UN Science Division had been tasked with finding a way to neutralize the alien threat, and Elena thought she might have found the key. "It's their biology," she explained to her colleagues. "These Zarkonians, they're not used to Earth's atmosphere. Our air is like poison to them. If we can weaponize that—" Her words were cut short as an explosion rocked the building. Alien troops had breached the facility's defenses. Elena grabbed her research and ran, determined that her discovery wouldn't fall into enemy hands. In orbit, Admiral Zex Krull watched in growing horror as his invasion force was systematically dismantled. "Impossible," he hissed, his skin turning a sickly shade of disbelief. "How are these primitives doing this?" His tactical officer, visibly shaken, reported, "Admiral, we're losing ships at an alarming rate. These humans, their weapons are more effective than we anticipated, and their strategies are unpredictable." Zex Krull's tentacles writhed in fury. "Send in the second wave. We will not be defeated by these animals." But as the reinforcements descended, they met an even fiercer resistance. Humanity, having tasted victory, fought with renewed vigor. In the streets of every major city, civilians joined soldiers in repelling the invaders. Makeshift weapons were cobbled together from everyday items, proving surprisingly effective against the alien physiology. In Moscow's Red Square, a group of babushkas, led by 70-year-old Olga Petrova, ambushed a Zarkonian patrol. Armed with nothing more than kitchen knives and boiling water, they sent the aliens fleeing in panic. Olga's battle cry of "For Mother Russia" became a rallying point for resistance fighters worldwide. As the tide of battle turned, President Chen addressed the world from a secure location. "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady and resolute, "we stand united against an enemy that sought to destroy us, but they underestimated the human spirit. We will not bow. We will not break. Together, we will drive these invaders from our world and show the galaxy that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." Her words galvanized the global resistance. In labs and workshops around the world, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to reverse engineer captured alien technology. Each breakthrough was quickly shared and implemented, further tipping the scales in humanity's favor. Dr. Rodriguez, having escaped the attack on her lab, found herself working alongside a diverse team of international scientists in a hidden facility. "We've done it," she announced, holding up a vial of swirling blue liquid, a compound that's harmless to humans but debilitating to the Zarkonians. "We can deploy it through aerosol dispersal." Within hours, the new weapon was in production. Military aircraft began spraying the compound over areas of heavy alien concentration. The effect was immediate and devastating. Zarkonian troops collapsed, their bodies unable to cope with the modified atmosphere. In orbit, Admiral Zex Krull watched in disbelief as his ground forces were decimated. "Retreat," he croaked, his skin a pallid gray of defeat. "Full retreat. We've underestimated these humans for the last time." As the Zarkonian ships fled Earth's orbit, cheers erupted across the planet. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But even as people celebrated in the streets, world leaders and military commanders knew this was only the beginning. President Chen, addressing an emergency session of the United Nations, spoke for all of humanity. "Today, we have won a great victory, but we cannot rest. The galaxy now knows of our existence, of our strength. We must prepare for what comes next." In the days that followed, Earth began a rapid transformation. The remnants of alien technology were studied and adapted. Global cooperation, born of necessity during the invasion, continued and strengthened. Humanity, once divided, now stood united with a common purpose: to take its place among the stars. As news of the Zarkonian defeat spread across the galaxy, other alien civilizations looked towards Earth with a mixture of fear, respect, and curiosity. The species they had dismissed as primitive had done the impossible, repelled one of the most powerful invasion forces in the known universe. The age of humanity's isolation was over. The galaxy watched and waited, wondering what these unpredictable, resourceful beings would do next. Earth, once a backwater world, was about to become the focal point of galactic politics. The humans, underestimated and dismissed, had announced their presence on a cosmic stage in the most dramatic way possible. And this was only the beginning of humanity's ascension. Galactic ripples. The defeat of the Zarkonian invasion force sent shockwaves through the galactic community. In the grand halls of the Galactic Conclave, representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to discuss the implications of this unprecedented event. Arch-Counselor Zyra of the Aetherian Collective, her crystalline form shimmering with agitation, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues, we face a situation without precedent. A pre-FTL species has not only repelled a Zarkonian invasion, but utterly humiliated one of the galaxy's foremost military powers. We must decide how to respond." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, each species reacting according to their nature. Some called for immediate diplomatic overtures to Earth. Others advocated for containment, fearing the potential threat of an aggressive young species. Ambassador Krell of the Volox Imperium, his exoskeleton clicking with barely contained excitement, spoke up. "This is an opportunity, my friends. Imagine the potential of allying with these humans. Their ingenuity could revolutionize our technologies. Their adaptability could solve crises across our worlds. Or they could be the doom of us all," countered Matriarch Dizana of the Sylvani Concord, her leafy appendages rustling ominously. Need I remind the Council of the Crixian Uprising, another promising young species that nearly burned half the galaxy before they were contained? As the debate raged on, news of Earth's victory spread to the far corners of the galaxy. On countless worlds, individuals and governments alike reassessed their views on the species they had once dismissed as primitive. In the shadowy boardrooms of the Mercantile Guild of Ta City, business moguls salivated at the prospect of new markets and technologies. "Imagine," purred CEO Xixtal, his multiple eyes gleaming with avarice, "a whole world of untapped potential. We must be the first to establish trade relations." Meanwhile, in the war rooms of the Zarkonian Empire, a very different conversation was taking place. Emperor Zexkron, his skin pulsing with barely contained rage, faced his chastened military leadership. "You assured me this would be an easy conquest," he hissed, tendrils writhing. "Instead, we have suffered the greatest defeat in our history at the hands of primitives." Admiral Zexkrull, still bearing the gray hue of defeat, prostrated himself before the Emperor. "Your Imperial Majesty, we underestimated them. Their weapons, while primitive, were unexpectedly effective. And their tactics, they were unlike anything we've encountered. The Emperor's skin flashed a dangerous red. "Excuses, I want solutions. How do we salvage our reputation? How do we crush these upstart humans?" A young strategist, Vexlor, stepped forward hesitantly. "Your Majesty, if I may, perhaps crushing them is not the answer. These humans have proven themselves worthy adversaries. Maybe we should seek an alliance instead." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, to everyone's surprise, Emperor Zexkron's skin shifted to a thoughtful blue. "Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Prepare a diplomatic envoy. Let's see if these humans are as adept at peace as they are at war." Back on Earth, humanity was undergoing a transformation unlike any in its history. The aftermath of the invasion had led to unprecedented global cooperation. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge to advance human technology. In a repurposed aircraft hangar outside of Beijing, Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked alongside an international team of scientists, reverse engineering Zarkonian technology. "Look at this," she exclaimed, holding up a pulsing alien power core. "Their energy production methods are centuries beyond ours. But I think we can adapt this to work with our systems." Similar scenes played out across the globe. In Silicon Valley, tech gurus collaborated with military engineers to enhance Earth's defensive capabilities. In the forests of Brazil, botanists studied alien flora found in crashed Zarkonian ships, seeking medical breakthroughs. President Chen, now hailed as the leader who guided humanity through its darkest hour, addressed a special session of the United Nations. "My fellow citizens of Earth," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the globe, "we stand at a crossroads. Our victory has shown us what we can achieve when united. But it has also revealed that we are not alone in the universe. We must prepare for what comes next." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Today, I propose the formation of a new global body, the Earth Defense and Exploration Initiative. EDEI will coordinate our planet's security, drive our technological advancement, and prepare us to take our place among the stars. The age of nations competing against nations is over. Now we must stand together as one human civilization." The assembly erupted in applause. For the first time in history, humanity had a truly unified purpose. As Earth marshaled its resources and pushed the boundaries of its technological capabilities, the first hints of its new status in the galaxy began to emerge. Strange signals were detected at the edge of the solar system. Alien ships, observing from afar. Debates raged about whether to attempt communication or maintain defensive postures. The decision was made for them when a sleek, otherworldly vessel appeared in orbit, broadcasting on all frequencies. "People of Earth," came a melodious, multi-tone voice, "I am Ambassador Lyra of the Galactic Conclave. We come in peace and with an invitation. Your actions have earned you the attention of the galaxy. Will you join us at the table of stellar nations?" The news sent shockwaves through human society. After millennia of wondering if we were alone in the universe, not only had we made contact, but we were being invited to join a galactic community. President Chen, conferring with world leaders and EDEI officials, crafted humanity's response. "Ambassador Lyra," she replied, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Humanity accepts your invitation. We look forward to peaceful exchange and mutual understanding." However, her tone hardened slightly. "Let it be known that we will defend our world and our rights with all the ferocity we showed against those who sought to conquer us." As preparations began for Earth's first official delegation to the Galactic Conclave, humanity buzzed with excitement and apprehension. Schools hurriedly updated curricula to include xenobiology and alien cultures. Linguists worked around the clock to decipher and learn alien languages, and in labs and workshops around the world, humans continued to innovate, determined to close the technological gap with their new galactic neighbors. But not all reacted to the new reality with optimism. General Stone, addressing a closed session of EDEI's Security Council, voiced the concerns of many. "We must proceed with caution," he warned. "Yes, this conclave speaks of peace, but so might a spider to a fly. We must be prepared for any eventuality." His words resonated with many, and even as humanity reached for the stars, it also strengthened its defenses. The first human-made ships capable of interstellar travel were as much warships as they were exploration vessels. As Earth's delegation prepared to depart for the galactic conclave, President Chen delivered a final address to her people. "Today, we take our first steps into a larger universe. We go forward not as conquerors, not as supplicants, but as equals. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of every human who has ever gazed at the stars and wondered what lay beyond. We go in peace, but ready to face any challenge. For we have shown the galaxy that humanity will not be underestimated again." The delegation's ship, christened the HSS Unity, lifted off from the newly constructed Lagos space elevator, carrying with it the future of humanity. As it disappeared into the depths of space, Earth held its breath, waiting to see what this new chapter in human history would bring. Across the galaxy, other species watched and waited, some with hope, some with fear, but all with the understanding that the arrival of humanity on the galactic stage had changed everything. The species once dismissed as weak had proven to be anything but. The age of human isolation was over, and the galaxy would never be the same. The human counteroffensive. 5 years after Earth's first contact with the galactic conclave, humanity's progress had exceeded even the most optimistic predictions. The exchange of knowledge and technology with alien civilizations had catapulted human advancement forward by centuries. Yet, true to their nature, humans had not simply adopted alien tech. They had innovated, adapted, and in many cases, improved upon it. On the bustling space station Harmony, orbiting Jupiter, Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a gathering of human and alien scientists. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she unveiled her team's latest breakthrough. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored beings of all species," she began, her voice carrying across the diverse assembly, "I present to you the quantum fold drive." With a gesture, she activated a holographic display showing a sleek, almost organic-looking engine. This drive doesn't just allow for faster-than-light travel. It fundamentally alters our understanding of space-time, allowing for near-instantaneous travel across vast distances. The audience erupted in a cacophony of excited chatter, clicks, and bioluminescent flashes. An Aetherian scientist, his crystalline form shimmering with excitement, spoke up. "Dr. Rodriguez, this is remarkable. But surely the energy requirements for such a device would be..." Elena's smile widened. "Negligible thanks to our adaptation of Zirconian power core technology. We've increased its efficiency by 300%. As the implications of this breakthrough sank in, the mood in the room shifted. Excitement was tempered with a hint of apprehension. Humanity, already proven to be surprisingly resilient and adaptable, had just leapfrogged over many older, established species in technological capability. Meanwhile, on Earth, the newly established United Earth government was in session. President Chen, now serving as Earth's first global coordinator, addressed the assembly. "The quantum fold drive is not just a scientific achievement," she declared, her voice firm with resolve. "It is the key to fulfilling our responsibility to the galaxy. With this technology, we can now reach the farthest corners of known space. We can offer aid to struggling colonies, intervene in conflicts," and her tone hardened, "liberate those worlds still suffering under Zirconian oppression." The assembly hall filled with approving murmurs. Earth had not forgotten the invasion that had nearly spelled its doom. While the Zirconian Empire had sued for peace following their defeat, reports of their continued aggression against less developed worlds had reached human ears. General Stone, now the commander of Earth's nascent space fleet, stepped forward. "The first ships equipped with the quantum fold drive will be ready within the month. I propose an operation to liberate the Proxima Centauri colonies. The Zarkonians have been strip mining the system for resources, enslaving the native population. President Chen nodded gravely. Approved. But remember, this is not about revenge. We go as liberators, not conquerors. Humanity will show the galaxy a new way, one of justice, compassion, and freedom. As preparations for the liberation of Proxima Centauri began, news of Earth's intentions spread across the galaxy. In the halls of the Galactic Conclave, heated debates erupted. Ambassador Krell of the Volox Imperium addressed the assembly, his exoskeleton vibrating with enthusiasm. We must support the humans in this endeavor. They seek to right a wrong that we have long ignored. Their actions could usher in a new era of galactic peace and cooperation. Matriarch Dizana of the Sylvani Concord was less optimistic, or it could plunge us into a galactic war. The humans are young, impetuous. They do not understand the delicate balance of power that maintains peace among the stars. As the debate raged on, humanity pressed forward with its plans. The first fleet of ships equipped with quantum-fold drives, led by the flagship HMS Defiant, prepared for departure. Captain Sarah Mitchell, once an RAF pilot during the Zarkonian invasion, now stood on the bridge of the Defiant. She addressed her crew, a mix of humans and allied alien species who had chosen to join Earth's cause. "We embark on a mission of liberation," she declared, her voice steady and determined. "We carry with us the hopes of the oppressed and the promise of a better future. The Zarkonians once thought us weak. Today, we show them, and the galaxy, the true strength of humanity." With a brilliant flash of quantum energy, the fleet disappeared from Earth orbit, reappearing almost instantly at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. The liberation had begun. The Zarkonian forces in the system, caught completely off guard by the sudden appearance of the human fleet, scrambled to mount a defense. But they were no match for the advanced technology and fierce determination of the Earth forces. Captain Mitchell's voice crackled over the fleet-wide comm. "All ships, engage at will. Priority is the protection of civilian populations and critical infrastructure. Let's show these tyrants what happens when you mess with humanity and its allies." The battle was swift and decisive. Human ships, nimble and powerful, danced around the more cumbersome Zarkonian vessels. Precision strikes disabled enemy weapons and engines, minimizing casualties on both sides. On the largest of Proxima Centauri's colonies, a team led by General Stone himself landed to coordinate with local resistance fighters. They were met by Sextal, a resistance leader, his tentacles waving in a gesture of desperate hope. "We had almost given up," Sextal said, his translator struggling to convey the emotion in his voice. "No one has ever stood up to the Empire like this. You humans, you're either very brave or very foolish." Stone grinned, the scars on his face stretching. "Maybe a bit of both. Now, let's liberate your people." As word of the human victory spread, the Proxima Centauri system erupted in celebration. Centuries of Zarkonian oppression had been ended in a matter of days. But for humanity, this was just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Earth's fleets struck at Zarkonian holdings across the sector. World after world was liberated, each victory fueling the growing legend of humanity's prowess and compassion. Unlike the Zarkonians, humans did not seek to conquer or exploit. They came, they freed, and they offered aid and alliance. Back in the Galactic Conclave, the mood had shifted dramatically. Species that had once viewed humanity with suspicion now sought alliances. Trade agreements were hastily rewritten to favor Earth. Even the Zarkonian Empire, reeling from its losses, sent envoys suing for peace. President Chen addressed the conclave, her holographic form towering over the assembly. "We did not seek this conflict," she declared, her voice resonating with conviction. "Humanity wishes only for peace and cooperation among all species, but let it be known throughout the galaxy. We will not stand idly by while others suffer under tyranny. We extend a hand of friendship to all who seek peace and a promise of justice to any who would threaten it." As she spoke, scenes from liberated worlds played behind her. Joyous celebrations, humans working alongside aliens to rebuild, children of a dozen species playing together under peaceful skies. The galaxy watched in awe as humanity, the species once dismissed as weak, reshaped the cosmic order. The age of Zarkonian dominance was over. A new era was dawning, with Earth and its allies at its center. But even as humanity celebrated its victories, new challenges loomed on the horizon. Other powers in the galaxy, both known and unknown, watched Earth's rise with growing concern. The young species that had burst onto the galactic stage had proven itself to be a force to be reckoned with. The human counteroffensive had succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. But the true test of humanity's place in the galaxy was yet to come. The stars had been reached. Tyranny had been challenged. But the greatest adventures and greatest dangers still lay ahead. A new galactic order. A decade had passed since humanity's decisive victory over the Zarkonian Empire. Earth, once a barely noticed backwater, now stood at the center of a new galactic order. The United Earth government had evolved into the Terran Alliance, a coalition of Earth and its ever-growing number of colony worlds and allied species. On the sprawling space station Unity, which served as the headquarters for the Galactic Conclave, delegates from 1,000 worlds gathered for a historic occasion. Today, a human would assume the role of Galactic Arbiter, the highest diplomatic position in known space. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her hair now streaked with distinguished gray, stepped up to the central podium. The assembled delegates fell silent, a mix of anticipation and apprehension filling the grand chamber. Fellow sentients, Elena began, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's journey. I stand before you today, not just as a representative of Earth, but as a symbol of what we can achieve when we unite in the face of adversity. As she spoke, holographic displays showed scenes from the past decade. Human ships bringing aid to war-torn worlds, joint scientific expeditions uncovering the secrets of the universe, and celebrations of cultural exchange across the galaxy. We have proven that the strength of a civilization lies not in its ability to conquer, but in its capacity for compassion, innovation, and cooperation. The Terran Alliance pledges to uphold these values as we work together to build a more just and prosperous galaxy for all. The chamber erupted in applause, the air filling with a cacophony of alien sounds of approval. Even those species that had once viewed humanity with suspicion now found themselves swept up in the hope and optimism that Earth seemed to radiate. But not all were pleased with humanity's meteoric rise to power. In the shadowy corners of the galaxy, old powers and hidden factions watched with growing concern. Deep in the uncharted regions of the Void Quadrant, a clandestine meeting was taking place. Representatives from a dozen elder races, species so ancient they were thought to be mere legend, gathered in a chamber of living crystal. The Eternal, a being of pure energy barely contained within a humanoid form, addressed the assembly. The humans have upset the balance we have maintained for eons. Their rate of advancement is unprecedented. If left unchecked, they could unravel the very fabric of our galactic society. Whispers of agreement rippled through the gathering. The overmins of Salfar, a collective consciousness of unimaginable psychic power, pulsed with concern. Perhaps it is time to cull this upstart species, as we have done to others in ages past. But the Ancient of Zur, oldest among them, raised a gnarled appendage for silence. No, it wheezed, its voice carrying the weight of billions of years. The humans are different. They possess a quality we have not seen before. We must watch, we must test, but we must not underestimate them again. Back on Earth, blissfully unaware of the cosmic forces taking notice of their ascension, humanity continued to push the boundaries of their potential. In a secret facility beneath the Mariana Trench, Captain Sarah Mitchell, now Admiral of the Terran Expeditionary Fleet, oversaw the final preparations for humanity's most ambitious project yet. Status report, she commanded, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of energy contained within a massive reactor. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, the once amateur astronomer now leading Earth's most elite team of physicists, looked up from his console with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "The Nexus Gate is stable, Admiral. If our calculations are correct, this will allow us to create traversable wormholes to any point in the universe." Mitchell nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "Not just faster than light travel, but instant travel to anywhere we can imagine. The galaxy is about to become a very small place." As Earth prepared to unveil its latest leap in technology, the delicate balance of power in the galaxy faced its greatest test. The Zarkonian Empire, though diminished, had not forgotten its humiliation. In the depths of their homeworld, they prepared for one final desperate gambit. Emperor Zexkron, his once vibrant skin now a pale shadow of its former glory, addressed his most loyal commanders. "We have waited, we have watched, we have learned. The humans believe us beaten, but we will show them the true might of the Zarkonian Empire." Across the galaxy, Zarkonian sleeper cells activated. Saboteurs struck at key Terran Alliance installations. Fleets long thought destroyed emerged from hidden bases. The galaxy erupted into chaos as the Empire made its last, desperate bid for supremacy. The response from Earth was swift and decisive. President Chen, her resolve hardened by years of leadership, addressed the Galactic Conclave. "We extended the hand of peace, even to those who once sought our destruction. That offer has been rejected. Let it be known, the Terran Alliance will defend the freedom of all sentient beings, no matter the cost." What followed was a conflict unlike any the galaxy had seen. The Zarkonians fought with the desperation of a dying empire. The Terran Alliance and its allies stood firm, their superior technology and indomitable spirit proving more than a match for the Empire's final gambit. The war raged across star systems, entire worlds caught in the crossfire. But even in the midst of conflict, humanity's true strength shone through. Terran ships were as likely to be found evacuating civilians or providing aid as they were engaging in combat. As the tide of battle turned decisively in the Alliance's favor, Admiral Mitchell found herself face to face with the Zarkonian Emperor himself. In the ruins of the Imperial Palace on Zarkon Prime, two leaders who had shaped the destiny of the galaxy stood at a crossroads of history. "It didn't have to be this way," Mitchell said, her voice tinged with sadness. "We offered you peace, a chance to join us in building a better future for all." Emperor Zexkron, his once mighty form now broken and defeated, looked up at her with a mix of hatred and dawning understanding. "We were wrong about your kind, human. We thought you weak, but you possess a strength we could never comprehend." As the last embers of the Zarkonian Empire flickered out, a new chapter in galactic history began. The Terran Alliance, tested by fire and proven in both war and peace, stood at the forefront of a new era. In the aftermath of the conflict, the Galactic Conclave convened once more. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her term as arbiter coming to an end, addressed the assembly one final time. "We have faced our greatest test and emerged stronger for it," she declared, her voice carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom. "But our greatest challenges and our greatest opportunities lie ahead. The universe is vast, full of wonders and dangers we have yet to imagine. Let us go forward not in fear, but in hope, not in competition, but in cooperation." As she spoke, the first images from the Nexus Gate project appeared on screens throughout the chamber. Swirling wormholes offered glimpses of worlds beyond imagination, new frontiers for exploration, discovery, and growth. "Today we stand on the threshold of a new age," Elena continued, her eyes shining with the light of endless possibilities. "An age where distance is no barrier, where knowledge knows no bounds, and where the combined strength of all sentient beings can reshape the very fabric of reality." The chamber erupted in cheers, beings of 1,000 species united in a moment of universal hope and anticipation. As the celebration spread across the galaxy, back on Earth, a small group gathered on a hill overlooking the rebuilt skyline of New York City. President Chen, Admiral Mitchell, Dr. Tanaka, and a handful of others who had been there from the beginning stood in comfortable silence, watching the sun set on another day in humanity's new reality. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Tanaka asked, his voice filled with wonder. Chen smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden light of the setting sun. "No," she admitted, "but that's always been humanity's greatest strength, hasn't it? Our ability to imagine the impossible and then make it reality." As night fell, the stars came out, no longer distant, unreachable points of light, but beacons of explored worlds and new frontiers. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. The species once dismissed as weak now stood as a beacon of hope and progress for the entire galaxy. The journey from underdog to galactic power was complete, but for humanity, it was clear that the greatest adventures still lay ahead. The universe, vast and mysterious, beckoned, and Earth, no longer alone in the cosmic night, was ready to answer its call.